In this episode, we're going to talk about how much money you can make becoming a real estate agent. What I specifically want to look at is the average first-year real estate agent income, how to get a license, what to do after you get your license, what they're not going to tell you during real estate school, how to choose a brokerage, and then basically if you should even get a license. Let's get right into it. Pennsylvania, which is the state that I am currently residing in Pennsylvania, the first year average income, it's $76,946 is the average first year real estate income. Now, what I'm not seeing here, how many hours put in to get that 76,000 and change? And I'm going to tell you just from experience, I'm thinking it's probably 60 to 70 hours a week. It depends a lot, right? Because how a real estate agent gets paid, you list real estate for sale in between the buyer and the seller, and you get paid a commission. Typically, the average is 6% total in a transaction. 3% goes to what's called a buyer's agent, and 3% goes to the selling agent, who is the one listing the property for sale and representing the seller. It's typical that you can get down to 5%. What's important to realize is basically the seller is the one who is paying the commission, because they're the ones that the listing agent negotiates with the seller for the commission, and then half of that or a certain percentage of that is offered to a buyer's agent to bring their buyer. If the listing agent isn't good at negotiating and negotiates 5%, then only 2.5% is going to go to a buyer's agent. A buyer's agent does most of the work. The listing agent is the one who sits in the home, drinks some daiquiris with the owner, and you will sit around and you will tell the owner how much they could get for their property and how they should pick you. They should give you 6% or even 7 or 10% because you're the very best. And then half of that is going to go to the buyer's agent for bringing the buyer. If you bring your own buyer, you get to keep that full commission. It's advantageous to be a listing agent, okay? That's what I'll tell you. You'll sit around and drink martinis all day and get loaded and make money in real estate and never have to show a buyer a property. That's what I want you to learn from this episode. Let's flip and look at buyer's agents and what goes into earning a commission as a buyer's agent. Okay, this is where I say the buyer's agents do a lot more work than the seller's agents. They don't sip martinis at all. They're actually like, you're lucky if you can drink water as a buyer's agent. You have to find someone who is qualified to buy, meaning they have cash or they get qualified for a mortgage. They have to have decent credit to be able to qualify for a mortgage. Once they're pre-qualified, you can now start sending them listings to look at, to say, okay, this check marks this box, this box, this box. This is what I want. I want room for my kitty litter. I want a crochet room. I want whatever, right? And so you find that property for them. Typically, that's usually kind of how stringent they are. They have to check mark every box. Now there are, especially in this market, 20 buyers that are all looking at the same property. Who do I want to be on this transaction? Do I want to be the buyer's agent that has competing offers from 20 other parties? Or do I want to be the listing agent who is going to receive all of these 20 offers? The price of this house gets bid up to the moon, and now I'm going to make my money. You want to be the listing agent, okay? All the leverage really is in a listing. Most people in real estate their first year do a lot more sides as a buyer's agent than a listing agent, because let's face it, who wants to list with you when you've never sold a property? Let's say you are that listing agent or that buyer's agent. The time has come where a agreement is ratified. There's money being put down in escrow, and now it's time to do inspections, appraisals, counter from the inspections, get repairs done, and go to closing. Sounds like fun, right? Guess who does all that? The buyer's agent does. The buyer's agent gets the inspection scheduled. Then the buyer's agent tells their buyers that the house, even though the inspector found mold and rat droppings and a ghost in the cellar, a chipmunk in the chimney, the buyer's agent says, this property's fine. No, they don't. They say, these are all the things, and I think we should ask for X, Y, and Z to be repaired. And now just remember, in this market, when you're asking for X, Y, and Z to be repaired, and there were 20 other people competing against your offer, and now you're in $20,000 above what actual list price was, and now it's tied up, but you're asking for repairs, good luck. And it swings. I'm not saying it doesn't. We've been in a seller's market for a long time. I would imagine there's probably a correction coming. So you've gone through the buyer agent thing and the seller agent thing, and now it's time to get paid. And you're sitting at closing and you collect your check and you go cash it. No, you don't. You go to your broker, who then takes that money and then gives you a portion of it. And what that portion is negotiated up front when you join the brokerage. And maybe I fast forward a little too fast here. I'll tell you how to get a license if you're interested still at the end of this video, which I hope you're not. I'm just kidding. Get your license. You definitely should get your license. And when I first started and I went to, all the big names, Keller Williams, Berkshire Hathaway, Howard Hanna is big around here. Some of them wanted 50% of my commission. And what do they do for that 50%? Most of them allow you to hang your license there, and then they sell you on a big event in Texas every year. You guys drink martinis and don't sell any real estate, which you can drink your martinis by going to a listing appointment. It's a better use of your time. At least you're going to get paid for it, right? And they don't tell you how to sell. They teach you how to stay out of trouble. And that's because they don't want to get in trouble and they don't want to get sued. And then it's up to you to do all of the work and then give them 50% of it. Sounds fair, right? Sounds like something else. Taxes! Do all the work and then pay me some of it. And so there are other brokerages where you can get a salary. And you could earn a salary, you could join a team, and that'll give you a lot of business up front. If you're newer and getting started, I would probably suggest that if that's something you want to do. I would also urge you, and something I found later after getting a license, and if you're interested in this, shameless plug, I actually sell a course on it, is real estate wholesaling, real estate investing. They go hand in hand. And I would urge you, even if you do decide to go into wholesaling, into real estate investing, get a license. It will help you tremendously. The tools will help you. You'll add more credibility to your name. You'll make sure that you're doing it the right way. If you're interested in that course is jrheller.courses is the website. You can sign up, learn how to wholesale real estate. It'll teach you A to Z. So you get a broker's license, or you get your agent's license, right? And by the way, what this looks like is there are classes online. There's a local association. Let's talk about the fees then too that go into this. In Pennsylvania, and I'll speak of PA because that's where my license is and that's where I own a brokerage and that's where I have 14 people employed. Some have licenses, some are getting them right now. I always tell people go online. There are numerous websites where you can get a license and they are fully credited and you can get a license completely online, 100%. It's 75 hours of online schooling in Pennsylvania. And again, it's different for every state. And then you sit and take your licenses tests and then boom, you are a official real estate agent. And then you join an association like NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, and you find a brokerage to hang your license at. You cannot operate as a real estate agent anywhere that I'm aware of without a brokerage. The brokerage represents you. You do that, you go, you sit with all these different brokerages, you negotiate things like how much you're going to get paid, compensation, what the fees look like, because you're going to have to pay for the MLS access, for your local association, for that NAR association, and so to speak. And so those costs look like in PA, to get a license, you can do it for under $200 online. And then associations here for LCAR, which is Lancaster County Association of Realtors, I believe is like $1,200 a year, $1,500 a year, some other miscellaneous fees, errors and omissions if your office doesn't cover it, and those kind of things. So you're basically looking at an upfront cost to get started of $1,500 to $2,500, I would say. Now you have your license and you're ready to get started. You're ready to be sipping martinis in the mansion. And so you hit the ground running. And how do you get business? You can get some business from friends and family. But to get their $70,000 for their first year is going to be a lot of cold calling, door knocking, showing up at open houses, a lot of networking. It's about building a book, right? That looks like finding people on for sale by owner websites. That looks like calling on expireds, trying to show the person on the other phone that you're worthy of their time and that you can, in fact, sell their home. I don't want to talk anybody out from being a traditional realtor. Traditional real estate can make you a lot of money. And what I would tell you to do is, if you're going to get a realtor's license, go all in, don't dabble. Don't do it on the side. Don't get your license to sell 1 or 2 houses a year. What does that look like? Have at least 6 to 8 months worth of expenses saved before you go all in. It's going to take you a while. Even if you get a deal in your first 2-3 months, it could take 2 or 3 for that deal to close. And you don't get paid until the deal closes. You better be ready to spend 6-hour days cold calling for sale by owners and expireds to get a bunch of listings and for maybe one or two of them to sell, and or buy Zillow leads and all these other lead sources for buyers that are looking. You're going to be on the phone constantly. I'm just being real with you, okay? A lot of people would not be real with you. They would just tell you, dude, it's all martinis. It's not. There's no martinis. It is more like cold calling all day, being rejected, being told no, getting a deal under contract. That deal falls apart. I was a realtor second year. There was a for sale by owner I called on. They said, yep, sure, come on out. Tell me what my property's worth. I'll interview you and see if I want to go with you. And I said, okay, great. Sounds good. And I showed up and there was a lady real estate agent being interviewed for the same property that I was about to be interviewed for. I was 10 minutes early probably. And so I sat in my car. They were outside looking at the property. They finish up, they leave. I get out of my car and I approach this owner, and this gentleman says, I can't believe how rude you are. I told you 2:00. You were here at 2:50. That was so rude. I was trying to interview somebody and you were sitting in your car. He said, I'm not interviewing you. I'm going with this other girl. Leave. And so I did. And so I drove 45 minutes back. And now I've wasted 2 hours of my day driving for absolutely nothing. This happens all the time. And so just remember this and remember it as part of the game and chalk it up to the game, man. Gotta love the game. And so that's what it looks like to be a real estate agent. And if I haven't deterred you yet, you should definitely be a realtor. And I, again, would encourage everybody to go get their real estate license. And then I would encourage you to make money as a realtor or real estate agent. And then I would encourage you to invest in the only true, amazingly passive, amazingly equitable building wealth generational vehicles that exist on this planet, which is real estate. And so you can use that to find your own deals then. You can take that money and be a realtor and go out and find deals and buy them and stick a tenant in them. And then guess what? Maybe you can earn enough passive income to replace your active income. If I gave you some value and you would like to see another episode, there's more on my channel. So watch those. And then also subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell notification so you can get new videos. And please drop a comment down below. Are you a realtor? Tell me your experience. What was it like when you first started in real estate? Appreciate it. Thanks.